Let me first begin by saying a few words in support of the Asia-Europe Foundation. It has the historical task of ushering in a new Eurasia this century. For the first time, the great steppelands, deserts, high mountains in inner Asia are being bridged by technology. And countries, communities, once separated by these enormous obstacles, are coming into close contact. This will result in huge opportunities, but will also create new problems of cultures and economies mixing. And taking a long-term view of our common destiny in this new Eurasia is what the Foundation attempts to do. There are many other initiatives in the world pushing in that same direction, and they are all worthy of our common support. It is my great pleasure this morning to introduce my dear friend, Jacques Attali, to you. It is not for me to introduce him in his persona as a polymath. That you can Google. And you can spend hours. He told me last night that he's written or will soon be completing 54 books. And he's still in full flow. I had the privilege once of visiting him in his study in Paris. And he had, in that space, I think 3 or 4 writing tables, all with books and notes. So I thought maybe it was a kind of a library, but it was his personal study. And each desk was a book being written. And he writes books simultaneously. And they cover a full range. I heard of him and was introduced to him by our senior ambassador, David Marshall. He saw me once. At that time, I was deputy minister in the foreign ministry. He said, "You must meet this man." And he quoted Jacques about the history of the Jewish people and their contribution to the human civilization. With Moses, always law. Then with Jesus Christ, always love. Then when it came to Freud, it is always sex. And then with Karl Marx, always money. Then with Einstein, always relative. So that grabbed my attention. And in 1994, when I was in Aspen for a meeting, I noticed him in the same conference, and I believe he had his son with him then. So I introduced myself, and since then we've met whenever and wherever we could, and became, it's my honor, close friends. In fact, to me, a visit to Paris is not complete without a meeting with Jacques Attali. In his writings, in the advice he gives, there's not only this profound comprehension of the human condition and the context within which human civilization evolved, the understanding of science, of geography, of climate. There's also a deep sense, a deep love for humanity. And that to me is an inseparable part of Jacques Attali. It's not just his knowledge, his wide interest, his brilliance. It's not only his mind, it is also his heart And when I think of him, I tell myself that I'm also a socialist. So it gives me great pleasure this morning to introduce Jacques Attali to you.